Right now, Pittsburgh's best sports show is about to begin. Call us or tweet us. We've got things to talk about on the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call, powered by FanDuel Sportsbook.
All right, thanks a lot, Chris, and thank you for tuning into the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call. Rich Walsh. I'll be joined by Chris Mueller in just a matter of minutes, but we'll be taking your phone calls. 412-575-2600 on the Bordas and Bordas hotline. Before we get to Chris Mueller, I want to talk a little bit about Ben Roethlisberger. He's dealing with a left pec injury. Right now, he is probably listed as a game-time decision, maybe questionable. He is on the injury report. He did not practice today, but after talking to him today and hearing what he had to say, it sounds like he's going to play on Sunday, and he's going to have to deal with some pain during that game on Sunday. So I think the best scenario for the Steelers, if Ben plays, it's the best chance of winning, obviously. But, he's played with pain before. I don't think that's a big deal. My worry about Ben Roethlisberger is now that he's 39 years old, is this a type of injury that's going to linger on for a couple weeks, maybe a lot longer than it would have when he was, say, 30 years old? Chris, you have any idea how long we're going to see Ben Roethlisberger potentially dealing with this pec muscle?
Richie, I'm 36. When I get out of bed in the morning, I have to do extra stretches. I have to do all sorts of stuff. And I'm not a top drawer athlete. In fact, I'm not even a medium or bottom drawer athlete. But 36 means you got the occasional ache, you got the occasional pain. You're 39 and you get hit 10 times by 275-pound guys who are coming full speed at you. You're going to get banged up. And I think that's what Ben Roethlisberger is dealing with. I think this pec injury is going to be one of those things that he probably can play through. It's obviously going to be something that causes him pain. It's going to be something he has to manage. But what it should drive home for the Steelers, and I hope it drives home for that offensive line especially, is that the utmost important thing on their docket every week has to be keep that guy upright and keep him from getting hit as much as humanly possible. They just don't have much of a room for error. What's funny to me, he is tied, Ben Roethlisberger is, for the fourth most pressure, in terms of percentage of pass dropbacks facing pressure. He's doing it about every 3. He's facing opponent pressure. Tom Brady's 44 years old. He's a physical freak and a marvel, but he's still 44. 1 out of every 10 snaps so far this season when he drops back to pass is he seeing anything resembling pressure. So that should show you how seriously Tampa Bay is taking keeping him upright. The Steelers need to do whatever they've got in their capacity to try to do the same for Ben.
Definitely an indictment on the offensive line. I don't know what they can do now. They just got to roll with what they got, right? That's pretty much it. Hopefully Zach Bander can come back and be an improvement with this offensive line. But I had a chance to talk to your partner on the PM show today at 4 o'clock, and he suggested he thinks Mason Rudolph should start. Maybe let Ben rest so he can get healthy, so he doesn't have to deal with maybe lingering pain 6 weeks from now.
What other things might he be dealing with that we haven't heard about yet already? There might not be just a pec injury. There might be something else that's already bothering him. I'm sure his knee can't feel good. I don't think it feels good at any point during the football season. I really wouldn't start Mason Rudolph ultimately, other than for the curiosity factor here. If you really think Ben could be done well by 1 week of rest, because this team doesn't look like it's going to have, best case scenario, any margin for error to make the playoffs. So if you start Mason Rudolph and you lose a game that you might have otherwise won, well, that's kind of a problem, in my opinion. If you end up going 8-9 and 9-8 would have gotten you into the playoffs, that becomes a big thing that looms in your background on the schedule. As far as the offensive line, is there room for any improvement? What do you do? Are there moves? You got to hope Banner comes back. Chooks, I think, immediately heads to the bench as your swing tackle. I'm thoroughly unimpressed with him. Let Dan Moore see what he can do at left tackle, and then you hope that Dotson picks his game up, that Trey Turner finds his form from a couple years ago. Most of all for me, Richie, I know I've picked on this guy a lot, but it continues to stand out every single time you watch the game tape, especially if you're looking for it. Kendrick Green gets pushed back way too often. I know he can occasionally get some nice blocks in space. He uses that athletic ability, but he is a small guy, and it shows game after game when some of these interior defensive linemen push him around.
Yeah, not a big guy going up against a pretty good pass rush. That's just a recipe for disaster. They obviously see something in him, but not a first-round draft pick either. He's a third-round pick. So we'll continue our discussion about those guys, the offensive line, what the Steelers need to do, maybe run the ball more. Also, I want to get into more of these injuries because I don't think Ben is the worst injury that they have. I think their major injury problem is all these guys on defense. Hopefully they'll be back, coming back this Sunday against the Bengals. We're taking your phone calls. 412-575-2600 is the number. Back in a couple minutes.